Welcome back to another episode of the Consistency Engine podcast. I'm your host, Dane Patton, and with me, as always, Chase Collier. How are you doing today, Chase?
Doing great, just being productive every day.
There you go. I love it. Most people tell me that they're busy, but when you live with intention, then you tell me that you're productive, and I appreciate that.
Not a problem. Feel like we just talked about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, the conversations that we have and different platforms that we speak at, you know, we talk about a lot of the same things a lot of times, and that's going to be a common theme on this podcast. Is a lot of the information that we share is not new information. I wish I had new information all the time, but it's usually recycled information or stuff. Sometimes it's stuff that we already know. We just need to be reminded.
Yeah. The secret is that there is no secret.
Yeah. Secret is do the work.
Do the work, hear the stuff, and it may not hit the first time, but it may take 10, 20, 30 times of hearing the same thing for it to hit right.
Yeah. And, today's topic that I want to talk about is it kind of come to my mind here recently because we just had spring break here. So we just, one thing that I've been doing the last few years is, instead of doing a lot of gifts and presents and stuff like that for our family, I really doubled down on experiences. And what can we do to have more experiences? Kind of these leading edge experiences that I like to call them. And so we do a lot of traveling now. We've gotten to a point where I can step away and the business is running on its own. It doesn't need me every single day. The team does a great job, so I've been able to afford some time to go and do some traveling. So we do a lot of traveling, and it's spring break. We've been going on a lot of different spring break trips the last probably maybe like 4 years we've been doing this, and we spent a whole week in LA recently. And had an amazing time. We filled our time with so much different things. The first time we've been to Disneyland, we went to both parks. We went, my kids love the NBA, so we went to a bunch of NBA games, did the beach, did all this stuff, and I'm living such a good life, and I'm so grateful for this good life that we're able to live.
And you should be proud of it.
I 100%. I'm proud of what we've built, of our family, of our business, and all of that stuff. And this I forget where I heard it, if it was on a podcast or I read it on a book or something like that. But this idea of the enemy of a great life is a good life, and I've been thinking about it a lot lately of am I living a great life or am I just living a good life? Have I been able to get to this next level? And I think since we have such a good life that we have some comfort. And I've in my transformation when it comes to business and when it comes to my personal development transformation, I've understood that I had to make myself uncomfortable for that growth to happen. And I look back we're able to do these fun things and this travel and all this, and have I settled into this comfortable good life? And am I not at the great life point? But it's also, I know that I have a growing season coming up. I know we've got expansion. I know that all this stuff's happening, so I'm going to have to get uncomfortable again. And I think that's like a good thing to talk about here is those comfort levels and how you, and maybe some of the people listening to this aren't living that good life yet, and they're living the not so great life, and they want to get to the good life. And how do we get there?
And a different point to just hit on is it may not be a great life and a good life. It may be great life in now, or okay life, or current life.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us really don't know what that great looks like because we get so content where we currently are. I said earlier today to somebody that one of the superheroes or superpowers of an entrepreneur is being able to change habits and change them quickly. And when you're living an okay life, a good life, you're just kind of set in your ways. and it may be mundane, it may be normal for you. Hey, this is how life is supposed to be, this is how it's always been, so this is life. Good, bad, okay, in between. Whatever that looks like for you, it may be a little bit different, but just that statement, and almost need said again with a little silence to think about it, but the enemy of a great life is a good life. Just trying to absorb that, there's so much to unpack, because so many people say life is good, they're happy with life, they're doing the things. But going back to the question of busy or productive, a good life, an okay life is busy. Like, you're just kind of spinning the wheels, you're maintaining, you're paying bills. But a great life is having the time freedom, it's having the opportunity with family to go on those experiences. And the worries don't go away. Both Dane and I will say that. The problems and worries are always there, they're just different.
Yeah, what do they say? The new levels, new devils.
Yes.
So and I fully embrace that too. And that's why it's something that I like. I'm constantly having these internal dialogues and conversations, usually at the gym. It's where I do a lot of my personal talk in my head. And it's one of those things I've been thinking about. I thought it would be a good podcast topic to just kind of riff on here. You know, we very rarely prepare for these things. We just kind of we here's a topic, let's talk about it. I throw a question at you and let's go. And
it's really whose line is it anyway? And we get the topic right as the record button hits.
Yeah, but I think that's where the authenticity comes from as well. And this is like I've said before, we're experts on our own experiences, so we can talk about that. And since I am an expert on my experience, I can think about like the life that I used to live. And was it a good life? I mean, when I think during the time, I thought I was living a good life, but now when I think back to it, man, I was like, man, I was wasting so much time, and I was wasting so much potential. And I don't necessarily regret that time. I wish that I would have known more at the time so I could have accomplished more. But now that I know more, it's a responsibility to be more and to do more. And so, like, I know I'm living a good life, but I know I have a vision of what my great life is going to be, and we're not there yet. And that's why I'm ready to push myself back into this uncomfortable zone so I can get more and want more, but also provide more for more people.
What you don't know, you don't know. It is a good summary of that. And when I was in corporate life, I was kind of the same thing, going to college, being in corporate life. Like, this was the vision that everyone said I needed to do: go get the degree, go to the corporate job, and just live. And I did that for a while, and there were so many thoughts always creeping in the back of my head. Is this what life really is? Is there more to life? How can it be better? What experiences can we do? What impact can we leave? And when you start asking yourself some of those questions, I think that's where that vision of just a good life and a great life truly appears. Because you can see the vision that you want to have, but are you going to put in the action to it? And a lot of people don't want to put that action into it because they're comfortable with their current situation. And the word being content and contentment is something that always crosses my mind on this topic, just personally, is, am I on the right path? Is the vision there? Or am I just content in my current situation? Because when I think of a great life, it's Matthew McConaughey, I think, said this: who do you want to meet? And he said, I want to meet me 5 years down the road. And then I want to meet me 10 years down the road, because that version of you continues to evolve. And I think that vision of a great life continues to evolve as well as time goes on.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm living a life now that I never thought was possible 10 years ago. And I didn't even dream of the things that we're able to accomplish and do 10 years ago, what I'm able to do now. And when I have that level of thinking, I'm like, dude, what am I going to be doing in 10 years from now? That's got me jacked and excited all the time, because I know that I've built habits and I've built a mindset and a lifestyle that is making me better every year that I get older. And not many people can say that. I think a lot of people, they fall into this trap of they live the same life every year for 60 years and then they die, which is unfortunate, but it's the reality of the general public of what's going on out there.
And it's hard to get out of that mindset, and it's 100% a mindset shift. Part of it is lack of knowledge, but the other part is mindset. How willing are you for that uncomfortable situation? How bad do you want to change? You're not going to change until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. And it's one of those things that, people say it all the time, but it's so, so true. When people are tired of being in that situation, sick and tired is what I say, like, until you're to that point that you can't take more of the same situation you're in, then you're going to change. And that might be a different catalyst for a lot of different people. It might be a child being born. It might be a death of a family member. It might be moving to a new location, a business promotion. And you can take all of the different catalysts, but what does it look like for you? And it's as simple for me as changing the habits, because it really comes down to those little things. And when I was in corporate America and wanted to make this shift to entrepreneurship, every night after my wife went to bed, I'd open up a book, I'd listen to podcasts, I'd start getting the knowledge and information to start the engine in my brain of what is possible, what is capable, what am I capable of? And when you start asking that question of what am I capable of, what impact can I have, what can I build, who can I impact, who can I add value to? Like, all of those things help start directing you into this journey that creates that great life that we're on or trying to get to.
Yeah. And it goes back to kind of what we said. There's not any new information. There's those information on those podcasts. There's that information in those books, but it's new information to you or I at that point, or whoever's out there and opens up that new book and gets this information that's been out there for a long time, but it's new to them. And they absorb it, they let it soak in, but then they have to go and implement it and actually take action on it. And that's what I think that I've been able to do fairly well the last couple of years, is absorb that information, but then figure out how I can take it and apply it to the vision that I have, because it's different than everybody out there. I mean, just recently we were talking at one of our meetings, and I said, all of this stuff is great, but if you don't have a vision of where you're going, it doesn't really matter. You can know your numbers, but if you don't have a vision of where you want to go with them, then you just have some useless information.
Yeah.
So what's the blueprint? What are we following? Why are we making the decisions that we're making? Have that vision, and it's so important.
If you break it down to like a car, everybody has a car. Well, most people have cars. If you have a car and you don't have an end destination, you're never going to get there. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know how to get to that end destination and you don't have a map or a GPS, you don't have direction to get there. So you need to know what that end destination looks like so you can figure out what each step along the way needs to consist of. And you, being the architect of your own life, gets to figure out what those steps look like.
Yeah. Or are you I guess I don't even know if I've ever seen you do one, but are you a big vision board guy?
I've done them in the past. I don't do them consistently, but
I'm not
great.
I'm not a big vision board guy myself either. I have done them in the past, but you'll walk around, you won't see a vision board in my office or at my house or anything like that. And I'm not a person that needs to put it on a board, because I've got it in my brain all the time, and I'm constantly reminding myself of it. So I would say I'm not a vision board guy, but I have that vision in my mind, and I'm always thinking about it and actively making decisions to feed to it. So,
and small little trinkets is probably my thing.
Yeah.
Is whether it's a gold dollar sitting somewhere or a little model car or something from a vacation that kind of hits that memory to go, let's go. This is what we're working for. Let's drive.
Yeah. And we do the same thing when we take our trips. Like, I love to get a sticker from each place that we travel to. My youngest son, he loves to get some sort of like labeled trinket, whether like he just got like the Hollywood sign, like a little Hollywood sign. And that stuff like just jacks me up because he puts it on like the back of his bed, little whatever you call it, headboard, and then he has them on his desk and stuff like that. And then we look at him, it's like, dude, like all of these experiences that we've had so far. He's 9 years old, and we've shared in all of this, all the memories that we get a look at each one, and it takes us back to that thing. And when we talk about it, and I'm fueling that vision in him of what he's going to be able to grow when he gets to be a father, or whatever he's when he has a spouse or a partner or whatever he wants to do with his vision. And like I've been filling him with all these different memories, so I'm super excited for that.
You're helping him build the roadmap for what his future looks like.
Yeah.
And previously we've talked about like being the example of excellence, and I think that's just as important as us going on the journey as being able to help other people with their journeys. One thing, and I know we don't talk to the camera very often, but I wanted to say to everybody out there, like, this topic of contentment and being the best version and growing to the great life that you want is difficult. I think both of us did it alone in the beginning. Like, it was us in our heads, and like people say all the time, I want to see what's in your head. And I'm like, no, you don't. But be proud of yourself, be proud where you currently are, and be proud of every step that you take to get to what your great life looks like, because it is not easy and nobody is going to do it for you. I have relationships with a lot of people and cherish all of them, but in the beginning, one of the things that drilled in my head is nobody owes you anything, and no one's going to do anything for you until you take the action for yourself. And I just want to say to everybody that you can do it. Be proud of yourself. I'm proud of everyone that takes action and creates the life that they want, and you can do it.
Oh yeah, that's a great message for anybody. I have to tell myself that I'm proud of myself, often. And I think we've talked about this before. It's like we set these goals for ourselves, but then we're constantly kind of moving the goalposts, and because we hit that goal, and then we're just like, oh well, yeah, but now I'm looking down the line and
next one
and the next one. And being proud of, and I think that's where the practice of gratitude comes in, like, and is so crucial, and has been such a game changer for me to just remember what it is that I'm grateful for every day, and be grateful for what I have and what I've accomplished, but knowing that it's okay to want more, and because I have bigger goals and that bigger vision. And when I envision what this great life looks like I'm so excited because me living a great life means that I've impacted so many more people to realize what a good and great life is for them too. And it's not just about the things that I'm able to accomplish or I'm doing with my family, but I've been able to give opportunities to other people inside my organization so they can start believing in themselves and believe that there's greatness inside of them, and they can live that good life and be focused on living that great life. Like that is a huge vision of mine, and that's fueling me every single day too, to get a little bit better, to put more content out there for people, and hopefully impact one person every day.
Yeah. Another thing to kind of piggyback on that is just to tell everybody that greatness is inside of them. Everyone has the opportunity to do it. And like, we want to be here and support you every step of the way, but you have to put the action in. And surrounding yourself with like-minded people that want to grow is one of the best things that you can do. If you're starting out and you don't have that group of friends or mentors or other people in the industry that you're trying to get into, go seek them out. One of the memories that I remember when I started in entrepreneurship was how many people out there are willing to help those who are eager and putting the action in? Just like Dane said, is we want to bring up the next generation. We want people to grow and have that great life. And when I see other people that want the advice, they're growing, they're reading, they're trying to get to that next step, I'm like, I want to help you the best that I can. Like, I remember when I was at that spot, and it is scary. And you normally don't have other people around you. So if you can go build that system of people around you, your 5 closest friends, make sure that they are going in the same direction that you are.
Yeah, and we're trying to lead at the level that we're on, and I think that's an important thing to talk about too. Is, you know, whatever level that you're on, you can lead on that level. Like, so, you know, if you've only been in business for 1 year, great, you can lead somebody that's just starting a business. You know, I've been in business for about 11 years now, and I'm trying to lead those people that have been in the last 10 years been business owners. I'm not trying to lead people that have been in business for 30 years, although I've met people that have been in business for 30 years, and I know that I have knowledge that can help them because I see them struggling with things that I used to struggle with, and they're still doing it. So, but I'm not trying to teach people that have $10 million plus businesses, because I'm not there yet. I'm trying to teach the people where I have been, and I think that's crucial in understanding that there's levels to everything. So, and the best way to learn something is to teach it. You know, teach somebody whatever it is that you've been able to accomplish or you've learned yourself, and you've had some success, some sort of accomplishment or achievement. Go out there and the more of that energy that you put out there, the more of that greatness that you're going to find inside of yourself.
We'll probably do a separate episode on this at some point, but just seasonality in life and in business. And this topic, I think, reflects a lot onto that, because we don't want to discourage you from when you just got done with a growth pattern, or you do need a break and relax and recharge. Whatever that looks like for you, that is not being content. That's taking a step back and appreciating what you've done and recharging so you can move forward. And the different steps and seasons are going to have little bits of different good versus great life opportunities out there. And one of the things you just hit on with different businesses is somebody could be in business for 30 or 40 years and have been content since year 3.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things I see often is someone's looking to retire. They want to sell whatever business that they've built the last few decades, but it's them and one other person, or them and 3 other staff. And it's like, if you've owned this for 30, 40 years, how do you not have more or a bigger business?
Because they got comfortable. They hit a certain level of revenue that they could support themselves and the people, and then they just stayed there. Yeah, you help people buy and sell businesses all the time, so you see it a lot more. But I help mentor people in businesses, and I see that quite a bit too.
What do you see as kind of the hurdle for people to get over that? And I've talked with some other people about this topic of it's normally like chicken and egg or cart and horse, and people are like, well, if I have to hire, I need to get more revenue, or I'm at a spot that's just comfortable. And you just have to bite the bullet and trust the process.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing, you know, and I like to simplify things as much as we can, and it goes back to what's the vision that you have. Is the vision that you have to just be where you're at right now? And if that it is, great. That's wonderful. You're living out your vision, great. If you have a vision that's bigger than that, and you constantly are second guessing yourself, like, you need to start making the choices and the decisions that's going to lead there, and get around people that are, you know, focused on growth or focused on helping other people get to where they're at and stuff like that. You know, a lot of it has to do with the people that you surround yourself with. And that's one thing that I love about this platform and what we've built there with the organization here locally, and you know, I know that we both have a big vision to do this on an even larger, grander scale, because we've seen how it's been able to help here locally with different people. And when you're talking about, how excited you get about helping people that are want to do the work, like same thing when we show up to those meetings and we see some of the same people there over and over again, it's like these people are invested in themselves. And that just gets me super jacked, because it's like if you're here to put the time and the energy and effort and sacrifice to get better, like I want to do whatever I can to help you. I want to give you as much knowledge and education as I've been able to absorb, and try to help you along as much as I can.
Trying to think what else we can cover on this topic.
Well, I did want to talk about when you were talking about the reset and recharge, and that's one thing that just like I opened up about our spring break trip, like those things are intentional for me. During the last couple of years, I've been intentional about these kinds of things where I have a built-in reset, recharge, and I just made a post about this. I normally post, once to 5 times every single day on social media. I'm very active on there because I love to share my story and the journey and all that kind of stuff. But I intentionally, when we go on these trips, step back from posting on social media. I step back from checking the numbers on the business or stuff or like even responding to a lot of emails or anything like that. I intentionally step back so I can recharge and I can be fully engaged with my family. And that stuff is so important, especially as you're growing and especially as you're on this journey and you have this vision of something greater, is to take that time to be intentional with what you're focused on and be, for me, it's with my family. Like I told you the other day, high value tasks I have is spending time with my family. And so I want to be very intentional with it. Dad's not really on his phone at all. It's hard to even get a hold of me when I'm on trips and stuff like that, because I'm here to make memories, and then when I come back, I can reflect on these memories, and then I can tell some stories and teach some lessons that I'm learned or trying to reaffirm for myself while I've been thinking and spending this time. So I love that idea of the reset, recharge, refresh.
And gifts are great. This goes back to the beginning. Gifts are great to give, but when you can give experiences, whether it's friends, family, employees in your business, like experiences last a long time. They're memories forever. And if you can help somebody, whether it is going on a vacation with your family or taking somebody out to talk about business, like those are memories. I still remember some of the first coffee one-on-ones I ever had when I got into entrepreneurship, and those stuck with me because they are experiences that all link back to growth.
And I like to talk to a lot of older people and just talk about their life and things like that. And that's one thing with my wife's grandmother. She's 96. And we try to go see her quite a bit because, she's 96. You never know when the last time we're going to get to see her is. And I like to talk to her about her life and the things that she's experienced and stuff like that. And older people, sometimes it's hard for them to remember, what they had yesterday for lunch or something like that. But when I start talking to her about her childhood or growing up, like she remembers these memories. And so that like fuels me to be like, okay, well, I need to create these memories in this time with my family. So when I get to her age, I can remember that stuff because it made such an impact. And then the same vice versa for them. When they're growing up, they're like, you know what my dad used to do with me and took me, and I was surfing on Venice Beach when I was 9 years old. Like that's going to be stuff that they remember or talk about. Or when I got to go see LeBron dunk, like these kinds of things are just those leading edge experiences I could talk about.
One of the memories that struck in me was on my grandfather. My grandma passed away before my grandpa, and when he was getting near the end of life, like we talked with him a ton, we were around him a ton, and like that, I don't think anyone ever ask the question, like, are you ready, or any of that stuff. And it was kind of like, did you live a good life, is kind of how it was phrased. And he said, I lived a great life. I loved my wife for 50 plus years. I traveled to all 50 states. I had an amazing family. I served the country, and I had the best life that I could have. Like, talking on this topic right now, like, that just hits home.
Yeah, that's when I think about this, is when we look back, we can say that we lived a great life. And that's what I'm excited about. And hopefully I've been able to share enough that it's been able to impact somebody else, so they can start believing in themselves and they can live a good and a great life. So that was a good topic here. I'm glad that I brought that up. Like always, this is a Consistency Engine podcast. We're grateful for your listenership, or maybe viewership, because you can watch this on YouTube.
Audio and video.
That's right. You can catch us on Spotify, on Apple, and on YouTube. It might be other places too.
Coming soon to a stage near you.
Yes, yeah, we do speak on stages from time to time too, folks. So, thanks for being here, Chase. Any last words for our audio ship?
Build the life that you want to build, that is truly authentic and yourself, and is not reliant upon what other people are telling you your life needs to look like. Because at the end of the day, it's your life, and you can achieve anything that you set out to do.
All right. Well, I'm not going to drop my mic because it's on a stand here, but all right. Have a good one. Thank you.